Has the business purpose really changed over the last 20 to 30 years? The answer is no. However, it's become much more obvious to many, both the impact we could have in terms of our business purpose and that inflection point that's now starting to occur for the second time in our history. So the purpose of changing the way the world works, lives, learns, and plays with the base of the internet, and now changing it one more time by a factor of 5 to 10 times the impact to date with digitization, connecting all the devices, which we're just beginning to understand the implications on how it changes every aspect of our lives, has never been more accurate. And so the purpose of changing that, I think, is going to happen. And the way we go about it is by creating unprecedented opportunities for our customers, our shareholders, our partners, in terms of the direction of the company and our employees. And so if you think about this new world, call it the second generation of the internet, the first generation, which started when Cisco was fortunate enough to be timing right in the inflection point in the early 90s, it changed the world. This next generation will have 5 to 10 times the impact. And so I think the more a company can understand that every company becomes a digital company, every leader must understand the power of this digital world and how it isn't just about connectivity of 1,000 devices, which Cisco started, to 500 billion devices, literally in 15 years. It's about what you can do in terms of the outcomes this occurs. The technology of cloud, mobility, security, connection of 500 billion devices, getting the right information at the right time to the right machine or person to make the right decision. That is actually the easy part. Companies have to change dramatically their organization structure and their culture. They have to be designed around speed. They have to be designed around speed of innovation. When you think about digitization of a country or of a company, if all you do is digitize what you're already doing and you don't change the organization structure, the culture, and the process, you're going to be disappointed in the results. The real question to ask is, do we think we're in an environment where change will take place at tremendous speed, whether it's economic leadership or challenges of emerging countries or developed countries, political unrest, challenges with extremist views around the world, new technology, new business models? I think that is the new norm. So I think companies and countries that are going to really lead in this new norm have to deal with an environment where there's going to be a constant series of changes. And you have to be able to adjust to those at a faster and faster pace. So when you think about the employees that all of us will count on for the future for our success, you have to realize that all of us have to change. So it isn't that we have to have a new generation to do this. It isn't that people have to be differently. Every person, just like every company, every country has to transform. And so the skill sets you need to be different are different than what traditionally education has prepared us for. So I think what you're going to see is, whether it's countries or companies, they're going to rethink about how do you skill for the future, not for the past, and how do you retain your very valuable resources you have. Because the disruption to people are going to be dramatic. A lot of jobs will be destroyed. So you've got to create more jobs, and you've got to create an education process and placement that allow you to move your employees from where you are today to the future. Companies will succeed or fail based on how they reinvent themselves, starting with the CEO and throughout their whole organization in terms of direction. Companies will succeed or fail based on how they evolve their relationship with their customers and partners. The ability of a country to become a digital country, with its ability to influence in a very positive way its citizens, is not dependent upon a political process or a form of government. It's dependent upon, does the top leader, does she or he really get it? Are they able to drive that through their organization structure and their bureaucracies? Do they have the courage to reinvent themselves as leaders, to reinvent their companies, to reskill their workforce, to literally get their citizens to buy into what this means to their future? That is remarkably similar to what you have to do in business. And it's about, does the leader at the top get it? Does she or he able to drive it through their leadership, their management team? Are they able to understand they've got to change their capabilities and their relationships with their customers, their employees? Are they willing to change their organization structure to make that happen? So technology really is agnostic in terms of politics. The benefit can occur almost regardless of form of government. Is, does the government have the courage to change, and do they have the vision to make the changes, not just technology-wise, but structurally, that are going to be required to achieve the benefits of their citizens? When you think about the future of 500 billion devices connected to the internet, and remember that's within the next decade and a half, you realize that big data by itself is meaningless. There'll be so much information coming at you that you're not going to be able to use it effectively. And so what you've got to do as this occurs is translate from it not being about just connectivity, but getting the right information at the right time to the right person or right machine in a secure fashion that allows them to make the right decision. So as you think about big data, don't think about it as existing somewhere in the cloud and you just reach up and the data gets sent to you. You want to think about what are you trying to accomplish in your goals. Big data will be one of the ways that transform this digitization environment, but it's making the big data simple to use. And contrary to what most people think, we think most of that will be handled, processed at the edge, and will never be sent to a central site in terms of its future. The first word that we want is innovative. It's an innovation machine. The second is around outcomes, the ability to get outcomes for our customers, different and faster than our peers. The third will be success, focus on customer success. We believe at Cisco that technology will determine the future of every company and every country. That if we're going to be a successful leader at Cisco, you have to understand what does this mean to you and what does it mean to your own company and how does that transfer to what it means to the customers. And so I constantly listen, constantly learn. Every customer session that I've been, and I've been in a half dozen today, I listen to what the customers wanted us to do, what we're doing right, what we have to improve,